Hey there, have you ever wondered what goes on behind the scenes before an NBA game? Well, get ready to be amazed because today we're diving into the wild world of the top 10 weirdest NBA pregame rituals. Oh, LeBron's chalk toss. It's definitely one of those quirky NBA rituals that make you scratch your head and smile at the same time. So, here's the scoop. LeBron James has been doing this thing where he rubs chalk in his hands and dramatically tosses it into the air before every game. It's kind of like his own personal pregame confetti explosion. Now, what makes this so intriguing is that he actually borrowed this move from none other than the legendary Michael Jordan, but LeBron never really gave MJ the credit for it. Talk about a silent nod to greatness, right? And let's not forget the sheer randomness of it all. I mean, who goes around throwing chalk into the air as a pregame routine? That's what makes it weirdly awesome. LeBron started this chalk-tossing tradition back in his Cleveland days, but he took a break from it when he joined the Miami Heat for 4 years. Then, when he made his epic return to Cleveland, he left the decision up to the fans. Yep, he asked them whether he should bring back the chalk toss, and guess what? The fans voted a resounding yes. So, chalk went flying once again. Oh, here's a gem from the world of NBA pregame rituals. Shaquille O'Neal's bowling extravaganza. We all know Shaq as a legendary basketball player, but did you know he had a scripted ritual that involved, you guessed it, bowling? He nicknamed it Alley Shaq, and it was a show he put on in the locker room with his Phoenix teammates. Picture this, Shaq pretending to roll a bowling ball towards a group of 4 to 5 players, and they would dramatically fall like bowling pins. Now, that's quite the spectacle, right? But here's where it gets even more entertaining. Shaq didn't just limit this pregame ritual to the locker room. He took it to the big stage during the 2009 All-Star Game. In front of the entire crowd, with 6 people on the court, he unleashed his Alley Shaq routine, and I can only imagine the laughs and cheers that must have ensued. Now, here's a heartwarming pregame ritual story that's not just about basketball, but also about the bond between a player and a famous fan. Charles Oakley, a prominent figure in the NBA, had a special connection with none other than Spike Lee, the renowned director and diehard Knicks fan. Before every game, Oakley would pass the basketball to Spike Lee in the stands. What happened next was truly unique. Spike would inspect the ball and then pass it back to Oakley. This charming ritual went on for a couple of years and became quite the spectacle for fans. Jason Terry, a highly skilled point guard known for his incredible plays and his contribution to leading his team to a championship, had some interesting pregame rituals and superstitions that set him apart. Before every game, he had a few quirky habits. First, he would chow down on some chicken. Now, that's not your typical athlete's pregame meal, but hey, whatever worked for him, right? Next up, the high-knee socks. Turns out, he rocked these not just for style, but as a nod to his father who did the same. It's always fascinating to see how personal connections can play a role in these rituals. And let's not forget the headband, a signature part of his on-court look. It's funny how such a simple accessory can become such a defining part of a player's image. But here's where it gets really interesting. Jason Terry had a unique superstition that involved wearing the opposing team's shorts to bed the night before a game. Now, that's some serious dedication to getting inside the opponent's head. It's not every day you hear about an athlete going to such lengths for a pregame ritual. Dwyane Wade's pregame ritual is not only a unique one, but also carries a beautiful tribute within it. He borrowed this tradition from Vince Carter, who used to pull himself up on the net and kiss the rim as a gesture to honor his grandmother. It's touching to see how these rituals can have such a deep personal meaning. In Wade's case, he adapted the ritual to match his jersey number, his iconic 3. So, he does 3 pull-ups on the rim before each game, keeping the tradition alive. It's become a symbol of his commitment to the game and his connection to the fans. Danny Green's jump around dance is a blast from the past and has a fun origin story. He introduced this dance in 2009 when he was a part of the championship-winning UNC team. Interestingly, he borrowed the dance from the TV show House of Pain, but put on his own twist to it and gave it a unique spin. What's even more impressive is that this dance has stayed with him even during his NBA career. It's become a part of his identity on the court, and fans recognize him not only for his sharp shooting skills, but also for the occasional jump-around dance moves. Speaking of sharp shooting, Danny Green's record for hitting the most three-pointers in NBA Finals history is quite an accomplishment, and winning an NBA championship with the Spurs that year just adds to his legacy. So, it's not just the jump shots that make Danny Green stand out, it's also the celebratory dance moves that remind us that basketball is as much about the joy of the game as it is about the competition. Rajon Rondo, the master of assists and steals, had a unique pregame ritual during his time with the Boston Celtics alongside Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Jeff Green. With 4 basketballs in hand, he'd kick things off with an alley-oop to KG, showcasing his precision. Then, a crafty bounce pass to Pierce demonstrated his versatility. The real showstopper? Rondo's pinpoint pass all the way up to the scoreboard, allowing Jeff Green to throw down a dunk. It was the display of his incredible court vision and accuracy. Unfortunately, this entertaining ritual came to an end when he was traded to the Mavericks, but it's a fond memory for Celtics fans. Carmelo Anthony, the scoring sensation, has indeed had an impressive career, but a championship has remained elusive. Now, let's talk about his pregame ritual. It might not be as flashy as some others, but it's uniquely his. Before every game, Melo takes a moment to inspect the basketball. Why, you ask? Well, it's not entirely clear, but perhaps he's just making sure the ball is in perfect shape. Maybe it's a way to get a feel for the game, or simply his way of ensuring everything's just right before he hits the court. Stephen Curry, the unstoppable three-point maestro and reigning MVP, has a pregame ritual that's as unique as his shooting skills. Just moments before tip-off, he ditches the traditional team huddle and sprints up and down the court, all by himself. It's a bit unusual because it's a solo act and he's not sharing this moment with his teammates. But perhaps that's what sets him apart. His intense focus and readiness to hit the court running quite literally. After all, Curry's ability to drain threes from practically anywhere on the court is legendary. And maybe this solo sprint is his way of mentally gearing up to do just that. So, while it may seem a bit strange, it's all part of what makes Curry the dynamic player he is. The best player in the league has his own unique way of getting in the zone, and it seems to be working wonders for him. Kevin Garnett's pregame ritual? It's a head-scratcher, quite literally. Before every game, he goes under the hoop and bangs his head against the foamy part. Why? Well, superstitions are weird, right? Some say it brings luck, but it does make you wonder if it messes with your focus. But hey, it's worked for KG all these years, so who's to argue with the winning formula? Weird or not, it's his thing. And there you have it, folks, some of the quirkiest and most fascinating NBA pregame rituals.